it's still going to work, hopefully. And I think I have .4. I don't know. One of mine takes a different fluid than this one. So hopefully this doesn't come off again. So it does. Hopefully final fitment of these brakes. Alright, so as you've seen in a previous video or videos, I'm not quite sure where I'm at now. I had a catastrophic brake failure on this thing. So this isn't the master cylinder that broke, but basically when the caliper mount spun the axle and broke the brake lines, what I can only think happened was the whole system got overpressured and it broke the master cylinder. So basically the piston pushes into here, pushes the brake fluid from the reservoir out to the banjo fitting, and it's completely seized up. So I had to beg, borrow, steal, find some parts that worked. I tried I think it's like 86 to 04 Sportster rear master cylinder. Didn't quite work. That's what this is. This is an old crusty one off my old chopper build. I bought one. Another one, it just didn't work, it was too big. I ended up finding almost like an upgraded version of the previous one I had on here. This being the only braking system on this bike is the rear brakes. I don't really want to leave it up to chance for it to be working or not. I got the new master cylinder, came with a few other parts. What I'm trying to do, I will eventually get a better braking system, a whole better forward control system, but the money I'm trying to spend right now is not on that. With that being said, it's still going to work, hopefully. So I'm going to get all this hooked up. It's kind of a weird, there's a mounting plate where the master cylinder mounts to with the rear, the forward control peg. I guess the pivot point on the mount kind of has to go on after you mount it to the frame. It's a weird situation. I'm just going to time lapse through it. There's no point in talking about it. But I already have the master cylinder hooked up. I just have to attach everything else, put some brake fluid in it, bleed the brakes, and then hopefully it works. The geometry of this plunger system on the foot peg is kind of weird. It's kind of a tight fit. Hoping it works. Also, when you're just sort of throwing parts together on a bike, make sure you check which brake fluid your brake system calls for. It could be .3, 4, or 5. They're all very different. This, I believe, is .5. I'll double check because I have .5 and I think I have .4. I don't know. One of mine takes a different fluid than this one. So I have both. I don't remember what it is. Okay, so that's the new brake system installed minus the fitting. Yeah, so as you can see, I've put the master cylinder on. I had to take it back off because the plunger is hitting the exhaust. So it's a whole process. This is like super, super close to hitting the exhaust, which doesn't really matter. It's not hitting it. I think this is gonna work. I hope this is gonna work. I'm gonna get some pressure in these brake lines and make sure it's gonna work. So this may be a little like time-wise out of whack, but I got the whole brake system fixed. Took some finagling. It took me a good few days of just bleeding the system, filling the system, bleeding the system, filling the system to get this thing to finally pressurize. And now it has pressure and it stops. At least on the lift it stops. So I'm gonna take it for a ride hopefully tomorrow, weather depending. And right now, I'm just getting everything buttoned up for the final, hopefully final fitment of these brakes. I already got everything on the forward controls, thread locked, tightened down. I adjusted the brake pedal so it's up a little bit further instead of trying to reach really far with my foot. And right now I'm going through all the bolts on the calipers, thread locking, and getting everything tightened down. Alright, so everything's tight. Got red thread locker on this one, just orange on this one with the nylock nut. It's tightened pretty tight. So hopefully this doesn't come off again. I'm going to clean up these fittings a little bit better with some zip ties. I'm going to get them up against the frame here and should be good to go. Alright, so that is going to do it for the brake system. Like I said, this thing was being a giant pain for a little while. Took a lot of finagling to get it to work. It just seemed like one issue after another. Tried everything, bench bleeding, vacuum pump, taking everything apart, cleaned it, put it back together, isolating one caliper at a time, which was ultimately the thing that worked after the second time I'd done it. The first time, nothing changed, but I was pulling all the air out and just wasn't building any pressure. So I don't know if I just knocked some air loose that was trapped somewhere or what, but it's working now. Like I said, I'm gonna take it for a ride tomorrow, hopefully, and get all the kinks out.